Whether you're trying to build your emergency fund or you want more money to invest in Bitcoin, whatever your financial goals, cutting your grocery costs is one of the best and easiest ways to save money. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jonathan, and on this channel we're on a journey to financial freedom, talking all things personal finance, entrepreneurship and self-development. In this video I'm going to be telling you what tips and techniques I've used to save thousands on my yearly grocery bill. So let's get started. My first tip is to stop buying bottled water. I know if you get a large case of it, it can be less expensive, but even so, if you're drinking a few bottles of water a day over the year, that's really going to add up. So if you're the type of person that drinks bottled water because of the lime scale and the chlorine in tap water, then an easy fix is just to get a water filter jug, which you can just put in your fridge and keep topped up, and you'll always have access to clean, cold water. And these are only going to cost you around £3 a month, which really isn't bad. So I don't buy bottled water anymore, and I pretty much don't buy any drinks because drinks really add up. Drinks like alcohol and fizzy drinks can really add up when drank regularly, often. And if you're like me and don't like the taste of water, then my tip is to buy some cheap concentrated squash, which you can add to water. I've been doing this for a while now and it really saves me a lot on drinks. I think it cost me less than a penny for one glass of squash. So bottled water can be expensive and it's bad for the environment. So just stop buying it and it can save you more money. My next tip is to stop buying branded items. So for most branded products that you buy, there'll probably be an own brand alternative which will be cheaper. And in most cases, the quality will be just as good. For me, most of the time, buying the own brand item is the better choice. But sometimes I do understand that you will have to buy the branded item just because the quality is better. But I would say that the majority of the time, you won't be able to tell the difference. For me, I have to have Heinz ketchup because I really just don't like any other brands. But for things like beans and rice and oats and even cereals, then I will always buy own brand. So just look at what you're buying and try to swap out as many brand items for the own brand items as you can, and it's really going to save you a lot of money. And see if you can tell the difference. And if you can't, then just stick with the cheaper one. My next tip is to batch cook. So what I mean by this is basically when you make your dinner, make a few portions, then separate them and store them in the freezer. Now the reason this can save you money is because usually the more portions you're making, the cheaper each portion will cost. So if you're making a roast dinner for one person, it might cost you, I don't know, £10. So that's £10 for one portion. Or if you're making it for say 4 people, then that might cost you £20. So that's only £5 per portion. Batch cooking works especially well when you're cooking things like soups and stews, as they're mainly vegetables which are very cheap. Another way this can help you save money is you've always got a quick meal in the freezer. So when you get home from work late and tired, you won't be tempted to order an expensive takeaway, which is the last thing you want to do if you're trying to save money. And it's also a great idea for people who live alone too, as a lot of the time you won't want to spend hours cooking a meal when it's just for you. So it does become easier to buy takeouts and convenience foods, which are really going to add up. And you can also take these meals to work with you and save a lot of money on your lunch. I used to go out all the time for my lunch break. I'd go to Pret and I'd buy a sandwich, which would cost £7. So when I started bringing my own food, which I'd batched, cooked and frozen, I'd then take that into work and it cost me £1 for one portion. So that's a £6 saving every single day. My next tip is to invest in food storage. And if you're going to be batch cooking, you're definitely going to want somewhere to store all them meals. Having good food storage will help you save money because you'll waste much less food. Because it'll keep your food fresh for longer and help you avoid freezer burn. So you'll throw away less food. And if you're doing a weekly bulk shop, then you're definitely going to want something to store all that food to keep all your food fresh for the whole week. You also need to make sure you understand the difference between a use by date and a best before date. The use by date means after that date, it's no longer safer to eat. So you shouldn't eat it after this date because it could make you ill. But the best before date is an indicator of quality and not safety. So usually it would be safe to eat after this date. It might just not be as fresh. With this in mind, try to store your best before products in a sealed container to retain their quality for longer. My next tip is to not shop hungry. This one is so important because you will just waste so much money on things you really don't need. And in my case, often things that I don't even really want. I will now always make sure that I've eaten before I go to the shop. When I shop hungry, I can easily spend double on food. My brain's like, ooh, that looks nice, you should buy that and eat it. And I'm just like, okay. Then usually after my dinner, I'll think back and be like, why the hell did I buy all that crap? Be especially aware of this when you pop into your local shop midweek to pick up 1 or 2 items. Make sure you don't pick up a basket. Do that and you'll probably fill it. If you need a loaf of bread, grab your loaf of bread and get out of there. Most people have probably already noticed this one, but I wanted to mention it just in case. So do not shop if you're hungry because you will spend more money. My next tip is to meal plan. Basically, it's just making, let's just say, a weekly plan for exactly what you're going to be having each day for each meal. Planning your meals for the week will save you a lot of money because you can make a shopping list of exactly what you need and only buy these things when you go to the shop. This can help prevent you from impulse buying when you're in the supermarket, which, as we spoke about previously, can really add up. Also, by planning your meals in advance, you're much less likely to order a takeaway or buy convenience foods, which can be more expensive. There are so many meals you can make on a budget. Things like pasta and rice dishes, swap out meat for lentils and beans. And by planning this in advance, you can save a lot of money. I am hoping to make some budget recipe videos in the future, and if you'd like that, let me know in the comments. The next tip is to use cashback incentives and coupons that the supermarkets offer. Most supermarkets, at least in the UK, I'm not sure if everywhere has things like this, but I'm pretty sure most places will have something similar. But they have kind of loyalty schemes to keep you shopping with them, and often these can give you some decent offers and savings. For example, Tesco have their club cards, where if you sign up for their club card, you can get lower prices on certain products and get points for shopping with them, which in turn into vouchers, which you can spend on your shopping. So whatever supermarket you mainly use, try to find out what sort of loyalty scheme they have and make sure you take advantage of it, because it can save quite a bit over the year. My next tip is to shop online. Shopping online can definitely save you money. Usually when you go food shopping, you'll be filling your trolley, but you won't really know how much you're spending until you get to the till. But when you shop online, each time you add an item to your basket, you'll see the total going up, so you can really track what you're spending as you're doing it and see if it's matching with your budget, and then you can change your basket accordingly. And because you can remove things from your basket at the end, any unnecessary bits that you add to your basket, it's going to be much easier to remove them than it would be to, put an item back when you're in the supermarket. Another great thing about shopping online is you're just much less likely to add those unnecessary items into your basket in the first place. You usually search for the items you need, so you're not going to be seeing all those tempting items anywhere near as much as when you walk down one of those aisles in the supermarket. My next tip is to make sure you've got instant and quick foods. Now this might sound like I'm contradicting myself from what I said earlier about batch cooking and cooking from scratch, but sometimes you won't have the time or energy to cook a full meal. So make sure you've got some low cost, convenient foods in the house, with the main goal to prevent you getting takeaways. Because we know how easy it is when there's no food in the house to just order a takeaway. So just keep easy and cheap things in the cupboard. Things like microwave rice, which you can pick up for around 40p in the supermarkets. Things like instant noodles. I mean, I know they're not healthy, but they are just for emergencies, and they're going to be costing less than £1. Having these easy foods in the house is just going to save you money on those days where you haven't got the time or energy to cook. But make sure you don't become reliant on these foods, because they will cost you more than cooking from scratch. So you only really want to use these in emergencies. My next tip is being aware of supermarket psychology. Being aware of supermarket psychology can absolutely save you money. In fact, I could do an entire video about this one point. Supermarkets are trying to make money. They're a business. They're trying to sell you things. And they use loads of subtle techniques to make you spend more money. They use your own brain against you. Most of the time, you won't even notice these things. So when you start recognizing them, you can really start to save some money and start picking up on the things that they do to make you buy things you just don't need. For instance, the layout of the store. The most commonly bought items tend to be spread out around the store so that you need to pass many of the tempting items to get to your items that you need and get your shopping done. They also put the most profitable items at head height, because research shows that you're much more likely to buy something that's at a head height than you are to buy something that's on a bottom shelf. And just being aware of these can really help you avoid falling into their marketing tricks and ultimately save you some money. Another thing to be aware of in supermarkets is their offers, or what may look like offers. Supermarkets use signage like this, which to the consumer look like an offer, but really they're just promoting their usual pricing. We associate these colours and signs with getting a good deal, and supermarkets exploit this by trying to trick us into thinking we're getting an item on offer, when really it's the same price that it always has been. Just being conscious of these things while you're shopping can really help you change your habits. And it's really interesting to see how much you can spend just by noticing these things. And let me know if you've noticed these supermarket tricks when you're shopping down in the comments below. So using all these techniques can easily help you save thousands on your grocery bill, and it has for me. If you want even more ways to save money, then make sure you check out this playlist, which is all about saving more money. I really hope you found some value in this video and it helps you reach your financial goals. And if you want to join me on a journey to financial freedom and see more videos like this, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you did find some value in this video, then make sure you drop a like down below. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.